It's time to change the F up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of Change the F Up. I am Nate the Effing Great, joined here by no one this time around, actually. Victory Bell has a huge, busy weekend ahead of her, and honestly, it can be summed up as this. Wedding season is just not her best friend right now. So, Victory Bell, by all means, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your time, enjoy your weddings. Just be sure to take a break. That's all I gotta say right now. So I am actually going solo on this episode. Next week we're going to be talking about Michael Bay. But in this episode, I wanted to talk about one of Michael Bay's probably greatest and crowning achievements. That being the Transformers saga. Honestly, you guys, when this first came out, I didn't know what to think about it. First movie that came out in 2007, I believe it was. Yes. Honestly, I remember watching it, and I grew up with the Transformers as a kid. I remember watching them on Cartoon Network. I remember watching them on Saturday night TV shows. Well, Saturday morning TV shows, I should say. And I had a bit of an idea of what to expect and what I really wanted out of the Transformers deal. So it's going to be very interesting really talking about it, because I've never really talked about the Transformers from my past and the Transformers nowadays. So let me put it like this. It's going to be interesting to kind of talk about it, but also giving my opinion on it. So talking about the Transformers saga, let's just go starting at the first Michael Bay movie that was created in 2007. Honestly, it was a great origin movie. Definitely a great way to introduce all the Autobots, all the Decepticons, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, man, I gotta remember most of these names. Ratchet, Ironhide, Jazz, Megatron, Starscream. So many of these great, robots that I remembered growing up as a kid, and now they're basically becoming a live reality. It was just great to see that. The origins were great. The story was easy to follow. Definitely awesome. I mean, they talked about the Allspark, which basically helps create life. It's just really created life for the Autobots and the Decepticons. So talked about finding that and basically destroying it before the Decepticons use it for evil. But there are only like two issues with this movie, and that more about came at the ending. So one was that the head leader of the Decepticons, Megatron, was killed off after only about 10, 20 minutes of screen time. And not only that, but he was killed off by a human. So somehow this kid, Shia LaBeouf, Sam Witwicky, was able to find a way to just use this Allspark to kill Megatron. Okay. So that's it. For me, for a while now, I thought, okay, that's really it. That's how they're going to end the movie. And that seemed like how it was until, of course, that post-credit scene where we saw Starscream flying in space. And it's like, oh, we are going to get a second one. Interesting. And that's where things definitely went downhill for the Transformers. Rise of the Fallen, Revenge of the Fallen, there we go. Oh man, now I gotta try to remember these names. See here, I know Age of Extinction was the fourth one. Oh, the Dark of the Moon, that's right, that's the third one. Honestly, the special effects were great. Second one, I thought the story was still pretty easy to follow. Finding an ancient power to help defeat the Fallen, and only a Prime can defeat the Fallen, was a great. It was honestly a great, concept and a great thing to kind of bring up. But it also kind of left a bit of a plot hole there that obviously somehow Optimus Prime was going to be the one to kill him off. Now, I think a lot of people are probably thinking it's probably going to happen in a third movie or a fourth movie or something like that. No, they killed him off at the end of the second movie. Megatron and Starscream still live, and they fly away, and only to be killed off by, Sam Witwicky and Optimus Prime in the third one. The fourth one happened, and Decepticons get destroyed again, but this time they bring the ancient. There's these ancient Autobots that came about during Age of Extinction. Okay. Boy. So I actually listened to a video, and I'm actually going to try to find the person who uploaded this video, because he had a lot of interesting things that he said that I definitely do agree with. But one of the things I don't agree with is that one of the reasons why the Transformers trilogy was a failure was because of the quote-unquote idiotic fans. I don't believe the fans were ever idiotic. Okay, so it's Ramez Khan. Ramez spelled Armeez space Khan spelled Khan. Yeah, so he basically had some things that I definitely do agree with, but then there were other things that I highly disagree with. Like I said, the whole idiotic fan base deal was not at all the issue with the Transformers deal. It was more going along the lines of he was saying, the fact that there was always, the Autobots were always winning. That was one thing. That's just a horrible formula to have when it comes to these, when it comes down to these movies. You can't always have the good guy winning all the time. I mean, two great examples of this were Star Wars. For Star Wars, the good guys win in the first one. Empire Strikes Back, bad guys win. Return of the Jedi, good guys win again. You definitely do the same thing with the Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of the Black Pearl, good guys win. Dead Man's Chest, bad guys seemingly win this one. And then the third one, at World's End, the good guys win again. So if you follow a little bit of that formula, then you're obviously going to create a lot more interest. And the problem is, I think that when they just kept on saying, Autobots win, Autobots win, Autobots win, they lost a lot of that interest, and that's why the critics were so very poor. I mean, honestly, I remember watching these as a kid, and there was always this back and forth deal. Every episode, there was always, Autobots would win maybe 50% of the time, and then the Decepticons would come back and they would win 50% of the time. It was just a back and forth deal. It's basic, it's basic chemistry right there. You have to have good win, but you also have to have evil win too. Even if evil wins for maybe 10, 15 episodes, as long as you still give a little bit of a hope that, good is going to win in the end, then you're fine. It's basically how it wins. You have to also remember that, if the Decepticons, if the bad guys have more power, then obviously they're going to have the advantage, and it's going to be hard to stop them. But unfortunately, with a lot of these Transformers movies, it's they have all this power, but the Autobots take them down like nothing, like maybe 2-3 minutes, maybe, if you kind of think about it. So what I think that they should have done was that, first one, of course, Autobots win, but I would have not killed off Megatron. I definitely would not have done that. I would have had him, admit that he was defeated, have him run away, and just, regroup with Starscream. They go back and they talk to the Fallen. And when you go into Revenge of the Fallen, definitely have this deal where, where the Fallen actually mentions that, hey, a Prime can only beat me, but maybe there could have been something added there where they say, but I can only beat a Prime, but, I'm the only one that can beat a Prime. Something like that. If they would have done something like that, then it would have made more sense. Because here's something that really kind of made people scratch their heads, was that Megatron defeated Optimus Prime. And basically the Fallen can't beat a Prime in this, second movie. So wouldn't that make Megatron more powerful than the Fallen? It's a very strong thought that makes you kind of scratch your head and think, why wasn't that never addressed? And actually, it was addressed, but not by the Michael Bay guys. It was more addressed by a parody guy by the name of How It Should Have Ended. Definitely look at his videos. They're definitely great. Where he basically says at the end, where it's like, well, you can't beat a Prime, but I beat a Prime, so I'm basically better than you. And the Revenge is like, no, you're not. I'm more powerful. It's like, yeah, but you can't beat a Prime. I did. Therefore, I think I'm better. Something like that. Because obviously with evil, they always want more power. And when they know that they're better, they're always going to take out what they think are the weak links. So obviously this could have been something building up to where, Megatron would plan to overthrow the Fallen and beat him and say, yes, I'm the ultimate power. I am the one who can, destroy everything. Something along those lines. And they could have built that up more, in Dark of the Moon. Again, they could have had the Encennial Prime, I think it was, that other Prime that was in the movie. Again, they could have thrown the fact that, only a Prime can defeat the Fallen. Now there's two of them. Then, of course, Encennial Prime, he turns on Optimus Prime. And basically, now it's just like, okay, well, now you have to not only beat the Fallen, but you also have to beat a Prime. And you also have to defeat the guy who beat you in the first place. So, yeah, it looks like this is kind of bleak, but somehow, again, Optimus Prime could probably find a way to do it. They could have built this story up better and better without having to do so much hours put into these movies. I mean, in all honesty, if they could have put this movie at maybe, I think to start off, it should have been maybe like a 2-hour movie, which it probably was. Probably like a 2.5 hour movie, something like that. But the other ones probably could have been like an hour and a half, not even 2 hours, where they just, go by piece, like, again, like, it's almost like TV episodes where, again, starts off with the Autobots winning, then you have the Decepticons winning, maybe even have the Decepticons really just start seemingly having more victories and more power, and then finally, then you bring the Autobots in and they find a way to win. You build it up to where, Autobots find this new secret power, and this is the only way that you can beat this person. This is the only way you can win. Just something along those lines. It makes perfect sense. You have to make it practical not only for the audiences, but practical to the fans, too, that have watched these Autobots and watched these Decepticons destroy each other for years. You have to do it like that. I mean, honestly, one of the hardest things to do is to just kill somebody off without thinking, without having any hope of bringing them back, but it works. I mean, you think about it with Empire Strikes Back. When they had Han Solo frozen in carbonite, you had that question brewing in your head. Is like, are they going to save him? Is he going to be unfrozen from this carbonite? Is there any way to, bring him back? That's what really makes movies great, is that, you have these questions on, I want to see what happens in the next movie. Not something where it's just like, I kind of know what's going to happen now, so it is what it is. I mean, that's another thing with, of course, the Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. When Jack was facing off against the Kraken, and he ended up in Davy Jones' locker, people were asking, how the hell are you going to get to Davy Jones' locker? Are they going to be able to get Jack Sparrow out? Are they going to be able to free him? Are they going to be able to even beat, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Davy Jones, there we go. Something along those lines. You have to have those questions brewing so that people will be more interested in seeing what goes on with the next movies. I mean, honestly, if you do what they did in Revenge of the Fallen, where, the Fallen is killed off, but, of course, Megatron and Starscream, they're still there. Obviously, it was like, the only question that's coming through our minds is that, how are these guys going to die? It's probably going to happen in the next movie, but how are they going to die? It's not one of those things where it's just like, oh, well, they must have like some kind of backup plan. No, the Fallen was their main leader. You gotta, you just had to really create something great there. And unfortunately, this was something that I was hoping I wouldn't do, but I've heard so much negative feedback about this movie. I mean, it's the last movie that we see that will feature Mark Wahlberg as well as Michael Bay in it. And I looked at reviews, and then I decided, well, maybe I should just look at the plot line. And unfortunately, I looked on the Wikipedia, and the plot was just as I feared. It was predictable. It was not outstanding. It was just repetitive. It didn't feel like there was anything special about this, other than the fact that, of course, Optimus Prime becomes evil. I thought, oh, well, this will be interesting to see that. And, of course, I even mentioned, I said, well, they just introduced Galvatron. Is he not a part of this? Because why is he not even involved with these? Why is he not even shown in the previews? Why is he not put into this? What's going on here? It was just really weird to see that. And again, I remember I just look at the trailers and I look at this plot line and I think to myself, is it really worth just going to see it in theaters when I could just wait until it comes out in Blu-ray and DVD? It just doesn't feel like a movie that's really captivating or really does anything to the series except the saga, except hurt it more. It's probably the worst of the sagas, and the fact is that it's basically being dubbed the worst movie of 2017. That is rough. That is just really rough. Because Michael Bay puts a lot of work and a lot of effort into the movies that he does. I think that he is a genius. He did great with the first Transformers movie. But when it came down to it, he got too repetitive, and that caused a problem. That's why fans are critically against it. That's why critics are definitely putting more negatives on it than positives. Is that it's getting to be too predictable. There's not much real fairness really going on with the Decepticons. They're just there, really. It's just like, they'll come in, they'll put up a good fight, but then in the end, they'll just lose anyway. So it's like, why even bother? It was just one of those things that just really does get your goat. Where you're thinking, you come into these movies and you're expecting something great. You're expecting, maybe some shocks, some thrills, just some great action. But this seems like one of those movies where it's just more, it's just more the same. I guess another thing that was mentioned with the what went wrong with Transformers was that they focused too much on the humans. The movie's called Transformers. It's not, Transformers and also humans or something like that. Because when I was a kid growing up, I remember that they focused more heavily on the Transformers, on their backstories, on their character developments, on their ways of finding great weapons. But the first three movies were about, let's face it, they were about Sam Witwicky. First one was just, him getting his first car. Second one was Sam going off to university. And then the third one was him getting a good job. Fourth one was just Mark Wahlberg really, finding time and finding a place in his daughter's life, really. And now with this final one, I fear that it's going to probably be more the same. And to what I've read, it is, which is not a good thing. I'm hoping that they do something more with this saga for Transformers. Because here's the thing that's really going on. So this may be indeed Michael Bay, I should say. This will be his last directing role for the Transformers saga. But that doesn't mean the Transformers are done completely. because there's a planned Bumblebee prequel movie, which might be interesting to see, depending on how things go. It's supposed to be released next year, I believe in early 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And then there is a 6th Transformers being planned out. I'm hoping that this goes in a better direction. I'm hoping they focus more on the actual Transformers than on the people. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. So all in all, when it comes to these Transformers movies, it's hard to really support them because as a kid, I loved what they did, where they did focus on the Transformers and where they focused more on their character development, on their, their backgrounds, their backstories, the history of. I'm trying to remember was it not Electron, was it? Oh man, I'm thinking Voltron for some reason, but that's not right either. But back on their home world, just how they acquire these weapons and everything like that. Like I said, they're focused more on the Transformers, and I'm hoping with these 2 movies that are coming out, that's their main focus. Spend as little focus as possible on the humans. Focus more on the Autobots. Focus more on the Decepticons. Focus more on them. That's the main issue. Throw a couple movies where the villains actually win. Let that be a story in there, because it's something that people want to see. They want to see evil prevail somehow, so that way they can ask the question, how is the good going to prevail against the bad? They're obviously, if they would have had Optimus Prime probably dead in the 2nd movie, they probably could have brought him back to life in the 3rd one and do something like that. They could have done something like that, but they just decided to rush everything. That was the problem. So, again, hoping, fingers crossed, that Transformers does indeed do better than what they're doing right now. Do I blame Michael Bay? Of course not. I think that it's just giving in to either peer pressure and not taking a chance. That's the main thing. You have to take a chance in order to make it in the business. And if you go, if you're basically accused of formulating the same thing that's over and over again, so be it. But at least it'll still keep people questioning, and it'll still have people, wanting to see more, because now, again, you have evil winning, and people are going to want to see the next movie thinking, okay, well, we know what happened here. Evil seems to be winning. How are the good going to respond to this now? And does it seem kind of crazy to do it in 2 or 3 different movies? Of course, but at the same time, it seems to make the most sense to me. I don't know what you guys think, but love to know what your guys' thoughts are. Leave your comments in the section below. Let us know what you guys think about the Transformers movies. What do you think is what went wrong with them? What do you think is good about them? What do you think is bad about them? By all means, you guys, we'd love to know your support. Love to know what you guys think. Love to know your thoughts. Love to answer your questions. Gonna wrap it up for this edition of Change the F Up. Of course, you can always follow us on Twitter. Follow myself at Nate Effin Great. Follow my co-host Victory Bell at VictoriClark04. Also, you can check her out on her Instagram at VictoriBelleCosplay. And also, it is her Facebook fan page, facebook.com/VictoriBelleCosplay. And her new website for VictoriBelle.com is still in the works, but I do have a good feeling that she is definitely going to have something very special for you guys before the year is over. So, I have been Nate the Effin Great. Thank you so much for joining me here for this solo edition of Change the F Up. I'm hoping that this wasn't too brutal for you guys, but by all means, please enjoy this beautiful day, and also enjoy this great music by the Eric Stewart Band, who we are always just happy to promote and happy to just praise, because these guys do an amazing job. So go check them out. Their new album that came out, Lipsticks and Barbed Wire, is absolutely amazing. Right here, the Stewart Band is going to be singing the song Step Into the Light to close out this edition. But we will see you next week. So this is Nate the Effing Great, signing off.
Now you've been